Hello, everybody, and welcome to I'm the Best, the tier list podcast. My name is Likunmiffery, and I'm here with my co-host, Jeffofthemellows.
Hello, I am Jeffofthemellows.
That's true. Today, we're doing MCU movies, baby.
We're doing the MCU movies tier list. Specifically,
right,
not Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, not Fantastic Four, MCU movies that are in the same universe, question mark?
And the Hulk.
Well, the Hulk is canon. RDJ appears at the end, so it's canon. And also Abomination
real.
shows up in She-Hulk.
True. Okay.
Right off the bat. We got S through D. We don't need as many as we did for Pokemon, because there's just generally less.
Sure.
Iron Man 1.
I think this is an easy A.
I think it's an easy A. It's a great start. It boosted everything. It's the reason we're here today. Great villain.
It's just a good movie.
Great hero. Really, really good. Really relatable. Funny. Just good. All around great movie. Hulk.
It's been so long since I've watched it. It's such a forgettable movie. I don't know.
I think that it is a D. I think that there are things that are worse Ds, and I think for this tier list we will actually be row rating or whatever the term is.
It's probably it might even be the best D.
Yeah, and there are some Ds that are definitely worse. We'll get to them when we get to them. Iron Man 2. I think it's a C. It's a low C.
I think it's a low. It's not that bad.
It's either high D or low C. I think it is a
It's better than the Hulk.
Movie. It's definitely better than the Hulk. I think it is a fairly forgettable movie, and the villain being Whiplash is not exactly the most memorable. And I guess Justin Hammer as well.
Justin Hammer's kind of funny. I don't know.
He is the epitome of negative Riz, as Tyler would call him.
True. I don't know.
I also really like
C is
War
fine.
Machine.
I do like War Machine.
And having the new War Machine. And what's his name?
That's true.
What's his
Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle. I knew that, but I forgot. I was blanking. I love Don Cheadle. And
He's
War
so
Machine is one of my favorite parts of the movies, even though...
That's definitely true.
Spoilers, by the way, if you haven't seen any of these, or if you're not caught up, and I will be spoiling... I don't know. Lycus, do you care if I spoil shows like Secret Invasion?
I haven't finished it. I watched episodes. You could spoil it, though. I don't know. I might not even finish it. You said it was really good, but basically everyone else on the entire Earth said it was bad, so...
I don't know what anybody else was watching. I can see where they said it was bad, and I might be a little bit mind-washed by how bad... it's objectively better than She-Hulk. She-Hulk is bad. Secret Invasion might also be bad, but Secret Invasion is so much better than She-Hulk. At some point in time, Rhodey is replaced with a Skrull. So, Rhodey may be... In the movies where he's one of my favorite parts of the movies, like Endgame, he may not be Rhodey. I have no idea when that change happens.
I'm pretty sure it changes out after Iron Man dies.
I have no idea. I would not be surprised if it was before that, but I have no idea. Thor. I don't think it belongs in D.
It's worse than Iron Man 2.
I think it's definitely worse than Iron Man 2. It's a good movie. It's very basic. It's very early 2000s action movie like X-Men and that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just not... I don't know. It's not bad. I don't not enjoy watching it.
Right. It's a good setup for some cool characters, but those cool characters don't get to be cool till later. Like Heimdall, Thor, and Loki.
And Thor is funnier in this movie than I thought he was, but he is just not as funny as he becomes.
He's very dumb in that movie.
Yeah.
Okay, Captain America, the first one, in my opinion, is probably... I would put it bottom of D, or at least above Iron Man 2.
I think it goes in bottom of B, yeah.
I definitely think it's better than Iron Man 2. It has a problem that a lot of these movies have, where it has a really great villain that they use one time.
Yeah, Red Skull isn't a one movie guy.
No, he's like a trilogy villain where Arnim Zola's the main bad guy, and then other people like that would be the main bad guy.
Yeah, he's just too He's meant to be the antithesis to what Captain America stands for.
He's definitely not a Thanos, but he's definitely a 3-movie... I mean, if Loki is a 3-movie villain, fucking Red Skull is definitely a 3-movie villain.
Yeah.
You know, and he only gets this one, and that's kind of disappointing. I really like it. Peggy Carter has a lot going on up top, if you know what I mean.
So true.
Very, very good.
She's very smart.
Very, very intelligent. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Avengers.
It belongs in A, but it's not better than Iron Man 1.
I agree. I have some very mixed opinions about Avengers movies, as we'll find out in about 4 more movies from now.
Oh yeah, that one's gonna be a good 10-minute-er.
Avengers isn't like a good movie. It's like the hype for Avengers was insane, not nearly as insane as like Spider-Man: No Way Home or Infinity War, but like it was definitely large. Hype was large for Avengers, and they pulled it off really well. Loki being the villain was a good choice, an interesting one, but it ended up being good. They do mesh really well together. I know it's a bit weird, if you haven't seen like the Hulk where Bruce Banner is, kind of doesn't make any sense, but it kind of doesn't make any sense if you've seen the Hulk as well, because they kind of wanted to retcon that movie into non-existence for a while.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a bit weird, but it works. It works. A lot of good Nick Fury in that one. I love Nick. Coulson dies. Spoiler alert. Sort of. Not really. You haven't gotten to level 7 yet, I guess. That's a reference.
True.
To Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Anyway, Thor: The Dark World. I think this is the bottom of D. Like, this is the
it's so boring. It's so boring.
Worst of the worst of the... Well, it's not the worst of the worst. I can think of a couple newer movies that are worse than this one.
I don't
at least
know
one.
if that's... I don't know if that's true. You're not talking about Thor 4, right?
No. There is at least
okay.
one movie that is 100% worse than Thor: The Dark World. And is the most forgettable. I've seen it once, and I will probably never see it again until we have to watch it in a marathon with Tyler. We'll get to that one. That one's a lot later, when they kind of fell off after Endgame. Iron Man 3. Is it better? I think it's better than Iron Man 2.
Okay, I was gonna say it belongs in A. So.
That's a very controversial take, Lycus.
It's got weird stuff in it.
It's a very controversial take.
It's worse than the first Avengers movie.
I really, really like the story beats for Tony Stark and how he destroys his suits at the end, even though he makes 1 million more immediately after.
Yeah, it gets undercut by the fact that he needs to be Iron Man still. So
I think with how they played off the Mandarin later, it makes this movie better.
Yeah.
Although
I really like the depiction of PTSD after he goes through the wormhole.
That's true. That is a very good part of this, where the little kid comes up to him and says, "How did you escape the wormhole?" And then he says, "Oh!" And then he goes into his suit and locks down, and Rhodey's like, "Are you okay?" You've seen the movie. If you haven't, go watch it. I don't know why you're watching this if you haven't seen the movie.
True.
And also, I don't know. I don't know if it belongs in A. It's a good Iron Man movie, but does it belong in the same tier as Iron Man 1? I don't think so.
I do.
I would put
it
in B above Captain America, personally.
That seems like that's a fine compromise, considering you wanted to put it in C originally.
I did want to put it in C. I was going to put it above Iron Man 2, because I do think it's better than Iron Man 2.
It is definitely better than Iron Man 2.
Winter Soldier. This, I know you don't necessarily like this one, and we're kind of about to have the same argument. I think that it's an A.
It's, I don't know. I don't think I feel like it would have been, I don't know. I think they cop out a little bit with the themes a little bit. I don't know.
I really like the Arnim Zola scene. I really like the fight scene in this movie.
It's a good scene. My main issue is that they set up Captain America and Shield having a conflict over the role of a security state, and then they cop out by having it just be Hydra, you know?
And I kind
rather than committing to the genuine like political theme of the movie.
And to be fair, there's a lot of, like, especially in future and in past movies, like in Avengers, there's a lot of, like, mistrust for S.H.I.E.L.D. from the main characters. And you'll see more of it in Avengers Age of Ultron, but, like, I think that the distrust and, like, the hate for current S.H.I.E.L.D. is warranted, because they are they're not the Democrat Party. These motherfuckers are Republican. The head of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a Republican motherfucker. So of course he would be Hydra and not fucking S.H.I.E.L.D., you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess I just think it would have been more compelling if it committed to being Captain America going again, because Nick Fury had an authoritarian mindset.
Yes, he
about
does.
I think it would have been I think it would have been a better movie if they committed to Captain America and Nick Fury having that like philosophical political difference, rather than just making, oh yeah, it's bad because it's Hydra, you know?
I mean, like, it does fit though, because, like, even with Nick Fury, because Nick Fury is a we need more guns kind of guy. And that, in my mind, is definitely more of a Hydra take and a old Nick Fury take compared to, like, new comic Nick Fury. I mean, he is kind of like a dirtbag scumbag. But I do, at the same time, think taking out S.H.I.E.L.D. or knocking S.H.I.E.L.D. down a notch this early into the movies was a smart play.
I mean, they could have ended with S.H.I.E.L.D. also being essentially destroyed if they went with, I don't know. I just think it's a little bit of a cop out.
I can definitely see where you're coming from with that, with it being a cop out. But now the argument is it better or worse than Iron Man 3?
Well, I prefer Iron Man 3.
See, this is where we differ, because I prefer Winter Soldier. We'll put it there, and we'll come back to it later once we.
Yeah, we can just say that they're, if we average out our position, they're about the same. I don't know. They
are about the same, but we'll probably come back to it later. All right, Guardians of the Galaxy 1, I think, is our first answer.
That's absolutely true.
I think it is a fan-fucking-tastic movie. Great soundtrack, great characters, great actors, great villain, all-around fantastic fucking movie.
Yeah.
Now, this is where things get messy, because for me, Age of Ultron is an A. For everybody else, it could possibly be a D or a C.
I don't. It's not D material, but and I think it's better than the other movies we're putting in C.
I definitely think it's better than most.
I don't know. I think it's. If I was like, yeah, let's watch a Marvel movie. Well, I'm not. I guess I'm not picking it, but I would pick it over the first Captain America.
I would definitely pick it over the first Captain America. However, it has the same problem. Ultron is a very good villain, and a very, very good actor plays Ultron, and it is very convincingly freaky.
I do like that he's not just like a regular killer robot. That he's got more to him than that.
Yeah, he has, like, and I mean, like, the connection between him and Tony Stark and how they all, like, you know, make the same jokes. They're witty, they're snappy, and they're, like, completely full of themselves. Like, I really, really love that. However, Ultron is not a one-movie villain. Ultron is
absolutely not.
Ultron is a two-part Avengers movie villain. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen the Young Avengers movie.
No, I haven't. I watched Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes, which was like the first Avengers show.
Yeah.
Or whatever before Disney got it.
Yeah.
And it has Ultron like almost end the world. It's good. It's really good.
So it's an animated movie. It's the Young Avengers movie. Ultron does end the world and kills most of the Avengers. except for like the Wasp and the Hulk and Iron Man. And Iron Man takes in like a bunch of these people's kids and like sidekicks and whatever, like Kate Bishop and stuff like that. There's like a young Captain America sidekick. Ultron in that movie, like, to be fair, I haven't seen it in years. I watched it when I was a kid when it like aired on Disney XD, but like Ultron in that was very, very good. And that is more of an Ultron. Ultron is kind of in a position to me right now where the main villain of the MCU right now shouldn't be Kang. It should be Ultron. Ultron would have the possibility to wipe out the current Avengers and breed new ground for, the future of the Avengers. More so than Kang.
Well, Kang, especially given the current circumstances.
Yeah. Which, I still don't know if the actor for Kang, like, assaulted a woman or not. But I don't know. The result's not really in on that one. Now, because I like Age of Ultron a lot. There's a couple things in this movie that I don't like. I really like Hawkeye's family. I don't like Hulk and Black Widow's weird romantic relationship that they touch on and then never come back to.
They should have... I think it's... I don't know. They should have committed... They needed to commit to it.
But yeah, they should have committed to it entirely. And the other problem I have with this movie is that they kill Quicksilver, who would have been such a fun and interesting character for later on, but they decided to, fuck it. Kill him. He needs to die.
I don't think it was necessary for them to kill Quicksilver at that point.
At the time, before Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, I think it would have been the smartest choice to kill off Hawkeye, especially after right after introducing his family. Like, they could have been a really touching scene. That would have been
pretty emotional. Yeah, that would have been good.
However, they did that in the future with Infinity War and Endgame in such a way where I prefer the way they went than if they killed off Hawkeye in Age of Ultron. But they alluded to it a lot. It's like at the beginning of the movie where Hawkeye gets a chunk taken out of him. I mean, you watch that and you think, well, this is his movie. This is it, right?
Yeah.
And I think that thematically, it would have made more sense for a main Avenger from the first movie to die than someone who they introduced in this movie.
Oh, absolutely. I also do like. What I really like is the lifting Thor's when they all tried to lift Thor's hammer.
Oh, the party scene was great.
And Captain America gets it to wiggle, and Thor's like scared out of his fucking mind.
Yeah, that's definitely a really fucking good scene. I don't know. I really like Age of Ultron, but I do say it falls short, and I am willing to put it. A lot of people would put it in C or D.
I think you can put it over Iron Man 3 and Winter Soldier.
That's what I was about to argue for, so I'm glad you're on my side. Ant-Man.
It's truly a movie you can watch. I don't know. It's like, I don't know.
It's kind of in the same vein of Thor for me.
I feel like Paul Rudd is better in it than Chris Hemsworth was in Thor.
I'd still rather watch Iron Man 2, and that may be a controversial take. I don't know what people's opinion on Ant-Man is.
That's absolutely true. I think that's a perfect spot for it.
But yeah, I would definitely put it in C. Civil War. This is an argument to make.
This movie shouldn't have happened. I don't know. They should not have made this movie when they did.
It kind of like Age of Ultron. It did happen early. However, I don't know if they had any plans for it. Continuing after Endgame at the time, like.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like dislike the movie. It's a fine movie.
It's a fine movie. I think it's.
I think this is the perfect spot for it.
I think that it's not as good as Winter Soldier, but it's better than the first Avengers movie. It has a lot of the same problems that Age of Ultron had, where it happens too early, and there's a lot of like relationship things in this movie that kind of like are touched on but not delved into, like with Tony Stark and his parents, or with Bucky and Cap. I
think it's really weird. Tony Stark acts so out of character in the movie.
He really does, because like this in the weirdest twist possible, and I kind of get where he's coming from, especially after having PTSD. But in the weirdest twist possible, somehow Captain America is anti-government and Tony Stark is pro-government.
Well, that's kind of in the comics too. They do that a lot, where he's like,
but in the comics, like the Hulk, like destroyed a kindergarten.
That's true. Yeah, it wasn't it like some guy blew up I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah.
It also wasn't super great in the comics either.
Yeah. To be fair, it wasn't super great in the comics, but like in this one. And I mean, I don't know if not many people. I don't know how many people died in Sokovia, and it feels weird to talk about it like as if it's like a real natural like disaster thing that happened and people died, but like this is all fake.
I don't think it follows from how Iron Man behaves in any of his other movies or in the previous Avengers movies, to where he would go, yeah, obviously. We should have had to wait to go to Sokovia until we were told we could go there.
Yeah, and because in Age of Ultron, he wants to build a suit of armor around the world to protect it, and in this one, like without the government's permission, like above the government, and in this one, he's like, oh yeah, maybe I don't do that and let the government do it instead. You know what I mean?
And
And especially
just doesn't make sense to me.
Especially in Avengers, when he's like hacking into S.H.I.E.L.D. and he's like, well, they're making weapons out of this stuff. That's pretty bad, right? And then he goes from that to being like, we need to be held accountable for fighting for the greater good. And part of it comes from, like, because the big ones in this one are what happened in South Africa with the Hulk, Sokovia, New York, and wherever they were with Black Widow at the very beginning of this movie. Or not Black Widow, Scarlet Witch.
I don't remember where, but yeah.
Yeah, but like even in the beginning of this movie with Scarlet Witch, I don't remember really it being that impactful. I mean, yeah, they destroyed a building, but they also took out a terrorist. I mean, like, how is that any different than like? No, we're getting a little controversial, but like,
it's just like it in. I don't know. I don't understand. I don't. This movie, it just doesn't. It didn't need to happen. And Iron Man is also like, yeah, the superheroes should be kept under lock and key, and then goes and finds Spider-Man in New York City.
Yeah. Which, like, to be fair, Spider-Man, I love it. Nobody saw that coming, and it was such a good fun thing that happened, and it led to a lot of really good stuff. That's true, but it was so fucking like. Also, Black Panther. It was introduced in this movie. Another really good
true.
Hero.
The Black Panther, Captain America, and Winter Soldier stuff is so good. That just should have been the whole movie.
Yeah. But it really doesn't make sense for how Iron Man, because like I'm about to say something possibly really controversial, but if the government, if the Avengers are real, right? And Tony Stark knew 9/11 was about to happen. And he was like, hey, government people, 9/11, hey, George Bush, 9/11's going to happen. And George Bush is like, no, it's not. What are you talking about? There's no evidence for that. And then 9/11 happens. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just feels weird for Tony Stark, who considers himself smarter and above everybody else, like, into the future, like, even beyond this movie, basically up until Infinity War. It's weird that he all of a sudden is just like, yeah, the government knows best, and we should all be controlled by them. It's also because, like, another weird relationship thing that happens in this movie that is not really touched on in this movie, but is later, and it kind of like is started in this movie, is the Scarlet Witch Vision thing.
Yeah.
It feels like a weird inclusion to put here.
They're trying to do way too much stuff in this movie, and they undercook all of it.
Right, and there's like a couple instances in this movie as well where they'll be fighting each other, and then one of the heroes will swap sides in the middle of the fight and be like, oh yeah, like Black Widow when she lets Cap take the jet. That I don't know about that one, buddy. Like it just feels really weird. The whole movie. It's not nearly as good as, Age of Ultron, in my opinion, or Iron Man 3, or Captain America.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange.
It's perfect. It's fine.
Do you think it's just fine?
I like watching the movie. The movie looks really good.
The movie does look really, really good. It is Iron Man 2, where he has like the same plot points as Iron Man.
Yeah.
Visually, it's stunning. The story is okay. Dormammu's cool. Dormammu have come to bargain is a pretty good moment.
True.
I think at best, it's better than Age of Ultron.
I think that's a perfect spot for it.
It could go into A. Like, an argument is there for it to go into A.
I think we'll have to see what else we put in A.
Right. Guardians 2.
S, yeah.
S. Love that movie as well. Great soundtrack. The Guardians movies overall are I have yet to see the third one still.
Yeah, me too.
But they are fantastic. It is so funny. The music is so good. They bounce off each other so well. And the sad points are there and they're not undercut.
Yeah.
Basically, Marvel has this problem now, and we'll talk about it later with Thor: Love and Thunder and Multiverse of Madness, where they cannot do a sad, meaningful moment without following it up with a joke. Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2 are very funny movies. And they also have some real sad bits. Especially Guardians 2, spoiler alert, Yondu dies. It is very sad. It is very, very well written. I quote Yondu saying, "He may have been your father, but he wasn't your daddy." That echoes through my head, and it's one of the best final things to say before a character dies, because it's kind of alluded in this movie. Peter doesn't know his dad. He meets his dad. He's like, "Oh my god, this is awesome! I finally have a dad." And then he kind of realizes he had a dad the whole time, and then this new dad turns out to be a bad dad. And then he's
even though
Yondu
was also probably pretty shitty, but
he goes in, he's like, "Oh my god, Yondu was always there. Yondu was always on the right side." And I really, really like that realization. And they don't just come out and say it either. It is very, very heavily hinted to right up until the end. Even when Yondu says, "He may have been your father, but he wasn't your daddy." That's not outright saying, "Dude, I'm your dad. I'm your real dad. Fuck that guy." It was so well done. And at that point, when it finally clicks in Peter's head, he's freaking out. He's like, wait, no. And then the Ravagers showing up to launch fireworks at his funeral. Oh my god, it was such a good moment. Very, very good movie. And the whole Rocket and Yondu being like that, it's really good. The relationships are really good. It's very, very well written. It's just a good movie all around.
Yeah.
Both of them are.
Which one's better?
Which one's better? In my opinion, Guardians 2 is better than Guardians 1.
I agree.
I could watch Guardians 2 over and over and over and over forever. Guardians 2 also has Mr. Blue Sky at the very beginning, and I could watch it over and over just for that. It is a very good movie. Spider-Man Homecoming.
Pretty easy A, I think.
I think that the Vulture is a good villain. Is it better or worse than Avengers? I think it's worse. And I'll tell you why. A lot of people have this problem. Iron Man is in the movie too much. Way too much.
I don't know. I think it's a good way to make the movie different from the previous Spider-Man movies.
I agree, but he relies way too heavily on Iron Man for this movie. Way too heavily. It drops it at the very end when he fights the Vulture and, the Scarlet Spider suit. Basically, it's not Scarlet Spider, but it's basically the suit.
Yeah.
And it kind of, built itself up. But I think that especially in the third Spider-Man movie in the MCU, it could have. I mean, like, Spider-Man stories can be good, and that one, like with Spider-Man No Way Home with Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange was in there just the right amount. For me,
That's true.
Tony Stark is in here a little too much. I
understand that opinion.
I think that the Vulture is a very good villain. I think that the plot points, where, like, especially when they're in the car and they both realize who each other are, very good.
The Vulture's design, I love it.
I really love, because the Vulture is one of those Spider-Man villains that is kind of like, I'm evil. Why are you evil? Because I'm evil. And in this one, they kind of give him a reason because he's evil,
Yeah, because he
got fucked by Tony Stark.
Yeah.
And, now he's like, well, I have to provide for my family, so I guess I'll steal shit now. Which, I mean, you could make an argument, why didn't he just go work for damage control? But, whatever. He did get cucked by Tony Stark. Which is a theme for Spider-Man villains.
True.
I don't think it's as good as Avengers. I think that it's a great Spider-Man movie. I don't think it's better than the first two Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies.
I think it's better than the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie.
I disagree. I think that this is worse than the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie. We could have an argument on that. We might later if we do a just Spider-Man movie tier list.
That'd be fun.
But Spider-Man Homecoming is, I agree, definitely an A. It's a great movie. I could watch it 1,000,000 times.
It's just fun to watch. I don't know. It's good.
Funny.
True.
The soundtrack in this one is very good, and that continues on for the Spider-Man movies. The theme in the background always hits so hard. The part where Ned is the guy in the chair and the teacher comes in and is like, "What are you doing in here?" And he says, watching porn. Like that got me so hard when I saw it for the first time.
What did it get you?
It got me so hard the first time.
True?
That's not what I meant, but yeah. I mean, like, that Bread, the CEO of sex. I mean, come on, dude. That is fucking fantastic. And that's
just a good movie.
That's great about the Spider-Man movies is that, man, did they pick some good... People have a lot of arguments on who was the best Spider-Man, and I don't know if we can have that argument now, because I don't think that Tom Holland is the best Spider-Man, but he is a damn good Spider-Man.
He is a good Spider-Man. I was going to say Andrew Garfield's the best Spider-Man.
Andrew Garfield is the best Spider-Man, but he was dealt a fucking terrible script 2 movies in a row.
This is unrelated, but it's like fucking Henry Cavill. They got the best Superman they could have gotten and gave him the worst possible movies to be Superman.
And we will definitely have that argument in the future. Thor Ragnarok. S.
Yeah, easy S.
S. And for me, I could watch it more than the first Guardians, but not more than the second. I don't know about you.
I don't know where I would put it in relation to the Guardians movies.
I think that
it is
objectively funnier than Guardians 1, and it does something for Thor that really works in this movie and doesn't work later on, and it sets up Infinity War really, really well, and it gives us the Hulk we all know and love for at least one movie before they take it away from us.
True.
Hell is a good villain, but again, has the same problem. Well, not exactly the same as Ultron or Red Skull. I don't think that Hell is a 3-movie villain. However, Hela, I guess, is very underutilized in this movie. There may be a bit too much on, I think it's called Sakaar, the arena planet with the Grandmaster.
Yeah.
There might be a little too much on that planet, but I'm a big fan of Jeff Goldblum. And
the retcons they made to the characters' characterizations in this movie they're so good.
They are so good. They are very, very good.
This is the best Hulk is ever, because he's like a person in and of himself.
But he's kind of dumb. And even Bruce Banner in this movie, he's very intelligent but super incompetent.
Yeah.
Just like he is supposed to be. And the Hulk is, there's a part where fucking you know, Thor's like, I know I can't stop you, but he can, and then fucking Sator, what is his name?
The fire guy, I don't remember.
He's the fire guy. I think his name is like
Surtur.
Surtur, yeah. And where he appears and Hulk's like, you know, he immediately jumps on the guy and Thor's like, no, don't fight him. And Hulk is like, big monster. You know, that is the Hulk I love to see. That is, you know, just pinnacle Hulk fucking movie right here.
And I also like that the Hulk is actually like its own like a personality. Like he has a personality.
He's not like in Avengers and in Avengers Age of Ultron and in the first Hulk, he is just a fucking like Frankenstein's monster type character, but he has like no brain. He exists to grunt and that's it. In this one he talks a little bit. He has like inner Hulk dialogues. He is completely separate from Bruce Banner. And I think that it is great. And it's the last time and the only time we get, like, peak Hulk in the MCU. It's just a good movie overall.
Yeah.
Black Panther. I don't know about that. Maybe that.
Black Panther's alright.
I
don't know. It doesn't look very good.
Black Panther has a lot of CGI issues. And this is something that Marvel also struggles to this day about, is with CGI and making it look good or using too much CGI. However,
yeah, I think the spot you put it is good.
Killmonger is easily one of my favorite villains in the entire MCU.
Oh yeah,
easily. He has such a good reason to be a villain. He is super convincing. This is not the movie for him. I don't know about him. I, from the beginning, have said that Namor would have made a better Black Panther villain for the first movie.
Real. And then, yeah.
And then maybe Killmonger or M'Baku, and maybe even...
I think they should have let Killmonger brew a little bit as a side character.
Yeah. I really... I mean, Michael B. Jordan, great fucking actor. Chadwick Boseman, rest in peace, was very good in this movie. But again, they did something weird with the character, where they had like 3 or 4 fake-out deaths in this movie, and that really got annoying quick. He falls off the waterfall, he's dead. He's frozen, he's dead. There's like a couple fucking moments in this movie where he is like, quote-unquote dead, and then he just comes back. I'm not a big fan of those.
There was just, I don't know, maybe you can get away with one, but like, man. You
can definitely get away with the one where they're fighting on top of the waterfall, but I don't think that any of the other ones are necessary. In this is a movie where my opinion is different than Ragnarok, where they didn't underutilize the villain, they underutilized the hero.
Yeah.
Black Panther can be so fucking cool, and they had like one good action scene against regular people in this movie.
They needed to just recast him. So he could have had more time.
I don't
think it would have been disrespectful.
I don't necessarily think it would have been disrespectful. I think that Chadwick would have been like, you know, for the sake of the character, yes, recast. But it is very hard for me to imagine anybody besides Chadwick Boseman playing Black Panther. And I have an unpopular opinion about Wakanda Forever that we will get to later. But they definitely underutilized him. In the very beginning of the movie, where they're like fighting people with guns, he has some really cool bits. And he's like jumping across cars.
That's true.
That is awesome. But for the rest of the movie, he's fighting other superpowered people. Like... he should be more of a Captain America-esque, I'm fighting bad people who are, like, high in numbers, but, like, not high in, like, power level. You know? Like, his thing
like, he should be able to just clear people out, like Captain America.
Like Captain America does. And I mean, like, to watch Black Panther jump on, a cruise ship and, like, take out, like, the people who are holding everybody hostage, and turns out those people are actually Namor's people. would have been very fucking cool. Like, I have opinions about Wakanda Forever. We will get to it. I do think that movie would have been better with Black Panther instead of Shuri, but we'll get to that when we get to that. I think that Black Panther is a solid movie. I would watch it more than once. CGI is very mid.
True.
And they underutilized Black Panther in his own movie.
Yeah.
Infinity War.
S tier.
S tier.
Pretty easy. I don't think it's better than any of the other 3 movies up here.
I was about to say the same thing. I was about to ask you if you thought it was better, and then say I don't think it is. Great movie. Fucking phenomenal movie. Great fucking movie. It does what Avengers did times 10.
Yeah.
It brings everybody together in a way that makes sense and matters, and they lose, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
Biggest fucking movie for Marvel ever. It was insane. I watched this one in theaters when it came out on opening weekend. Phenomenal movie. I could watch that just as many times as the other 4, except for maybe Thor Ragnarok and Guardians 2. I could probably watch them a million times more. But
yeah,
it's not a perfect movie. It's not. It's not a perfect movie. It has a few flaws, and one of them is the Hulk.
Real.
They did so well in Thor Ragnarok, and then they started off really well in this one, and then he wasn't in the movie at all for the rest of the movie.
They needed to have a better reason. Or have Bruce and Hulk talk in his brain or something.
And there is a couple deleted scenes where they do talk it out, and there in the initial trailer, there were fake scenes where the Hulk is running with everybody else in Wakanda. I think it would have been... There is also a Funko Pop of Hulk breaking out of the Hulk armor suit.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Would have been very fucking cool. And you could still do the fucking bit. I mean, like, because... instead of Hulk breaking out and then it continuing as the Hulk, because Thanos clenches his gauntlet and puts Bruce Banner in a wall. You could have done that with the fucking Hulk. Bruce Banner's part was done after Cull Obsidian died. But instead of the Hulk killing Cull Obsidian, Bruce Banner says, fine, I'll do it myself, takes off his hand, or no, he grabs Cull Obsidian's hand with the hand that was broken, attaches something to it, and launches him into, like, the shield border. That is not satisfying.
Oh yeah, no, that's not...
The build-up for Hulk to come back was phenomenal. And then they just didn't do it. And it would have been fine. It would have been fine. Like, it would have made no difference if the Hulk came back, except for it would have just been better. Like...
Yeah. I don't know why they made that decision.
I don't know either. I really do not know why they made that decision.
Because they even still could have been... even if they were set on Professor Hulk in Endgame, they still could have done that. Because Hulk would be molding over the fact he got his ass kicked again.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. Hulk is not the character to get his ass kicked and then be like, oh, I'm sad, my ass got beat. Hulk is not that character.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense.
But overall, great movie.
It's pretty minor.
It's a minor point. It would have been. It probably would have been.
It's pretty minor, but it's also pretty annoying.
It probably would have been contending for best Marvel movie if not for that.
That's true.
But I think that these other 3 edge it out so much more. Ant-Man and the Wasp.
It's better than Thor.
Yeah.
I don't know how it relates to the first Ant-Man. I don't remember much about this movie. It's boring, is basically it. They're
pretty interchangeable. They have a very forgettable villain. Goliath is cool, but he's underutilized.
It's got Ghost, right?
Yeah, it's got Ghost. But like I can't remember even why Ghost is a villain. At the very end, the movie basically exists to tell you where Ant-Man was so they can set up Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
But
I don't know, the what if episode with the zombies only exists because of this movie or something, I don't know.
Yeah. And I mean, we could probably do... What If is a very, very good show. has a lot of real. The Doctor Strange episode is one of the best episodes of any show I've ever watched.
The Doctor Strange episode is good. We should do it. We could do episodes of that show as a list.
We could, however, there's only like 8. If they do a season 2, we could definitely do it.
I think we could definitely talk about them for a while.
We probably could. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We got plenty of time.
We'll see. That's true.
Captain Marvel.
It's better than Iron Man 2.
I think so. It's a nothing movie. I'm not a big fan of this character.
It's a poorly directed movie.
Yeah, I'm not.
I don't know. Everyone except Nick Fury is bad in this movie, and you can't just say, and you can't blame it on the actors when everyone is bad.
Yeah, I mean, Coulson comes back and he's Coulson. Nick Fury is great. However, I do think that him getting his eye scratched out by a cat is funny, but like if they didn't say earlier in a different movie that the last time he trusted someone he lost an eye, it kind of downplays that.
It's funny, but it's also a little cringe.
It is a little cringe. I think the movie is fine. It's not something that I would pick to watch. I don't like the character. Way too overpowered. It's hard to do a villain for Captain Marvel that is compelling. Because Captain Marvel's villains are literally just, I'm bad because I'm bad. Yeah. Like, Kang is like the most convincing Captain Marvel villain you could do. It's just, I don't know. Because the reason, Thor is also a very overpowered character. But you could do Thor villains because they have a personal relationship with Thor. Hela, Loki, it all makes sense. The Dark Elves.
It's his fucking family.
But Captain Marvel is just space aliens. Like, you could, like... There's not really a ground, you know?
The Kree being bad instead of the Skrulls is cool,
it's an
conceptually.
Interesting choice, that's for sure.
But then they kind of undercut it later by making a lot of the Skrulls bad anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's just hard to do a Captain... I don't know if it was the right play to make the villain of this movie the villain of this movie, because it's kind of just like a weird... Because, I don't know, because can you even really call... He's not a main villain. I don't remember what his name is, but like he's not like on the same level even as Ultron in Age of Ultron. You know what I mean?
I don't remember anything about him.
Like, he has such little screen time, and the only thing really that makes him a villain is that he works for the Supreme Intelligence, or whatever the fuck the leader of the Kree is called.
Yeah.
And he, is inhibiting Captain Marvel's powers, but that's like his whole thing. And I don't know if that's enough to make him, like, a convincing bad guy. Like, he's not trying to end the world. He's just following orders. And it's not, like... Because, like, for Captain America, they did Red Skull. He is the leader of Hydra. They didn't even... The main villain of this movie is not even the leader of the Kree. Like...
She does, like, fuck up the Supreme Intelligence at some point, but I don't even know if that, like, killed the Supreme Intelligence, or just, like... Yeah. I don't know. This movie is mid. It's just, I don't know.
It's not. It's almost bad. It's not on the same level as Hulk or Thor, for sure. And it has some good bits.
I don't know. The movie isn't like, there's nothing like super bad. It's just boring.
It's just very, very mid. And
uninteresting.
Very uninteresting. Endgame. It's not as good as Infinity War, but I do think it's an S tier.
I think it is not as good as Iron Man 1.
I disagree. I also watched this one in theaters, and I know it's, like, stupid, but, like, the build-up to this movie, to have the portal scene happen...
No, the movie is an experience in and of itself.
Thor,
but I think if you're viewing...
Or, not Thor. Captain America lifting the hammer. Falcon saying "on your left," and then everybody coming out with the most epic fucking music. The giant battle at the end. Tony Stark's sacrifice. I mean, like, it.
I think if you view the movie extant of its cultural context, which maybe I shouldn't be doing that, but if you do, I don't think it's as good as Iron Man 1.
Is the end of the Infinity Saga as good as the beginning of the Infinity Saga? This is what we're coming down to. Is it as strong of an end as Iron Man was as strong of a beginning?
I don't think so.
I don't know if I can agree with that. It's like, why do you think Iron Man is a better movie? What are your gripes with Avengers Endgame?
With Endgame?
Yeah.
I just think... I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of stuff... There's a little bit much in the movie. I don't know. It's got a lot of really, really good emotional moments. Like the entire time Iron Man and Captain America are at the military base in the past.
That's great.
That's the best part of the movie to me.
I think that the beginning of the movie, where Iron Man is gonna die and he knows he's gonna die, is great. I think
that's also really good.
He gets his own family and he's like, he has like a PTSD of losing Peter. Like, he roped Peter into this, and now Peter is dead. He has a lot of guilt from that, but he also has a family, and he's on the fence on he does not want to sacrifice his family. I think possibly the worst part of this movie for me, and this is in a weird way, like from the movie, like I really like Bro Thor, but that is the worst part of the movie. After Ragnarok, he already lost everything in Ragnarok and Infinity War, and kind of like the Hulk getting defeated in Infinity War, I don't see Thor as the character who would become that way. I think it's very funny. I just don't think it fits the character. And instead of them doing Thor justice, they decided to go back to Ragnarok Thor and make him funny instead of super, super badass and serious like he was in Infinity War. Infinity War Thor was the perfect kind of serious for Thor. Thor and Thor the Dark World is way too serious. And
I don't think they should have... I just don't think they should have made him a joke. Completely, you know?
I agree. And I think the very beginning of the movie... like where they like go and kill Thanos or whatever. Thor chopping his head off, I do think was a good part.
That was good. It made sense. It was good.
Here's a really controversial take, and this might cause some arguments. I think that Thanos destroying the stones has the same effect as Palpatine returning for no fucking reason. It feels very cop-out to me.
Yeah.
Now, I do like the time travel bits. I think they're fun. But it does feel very cop-out for him to be like, well, I was done, so I destroyed the stones, you know?
I think it makes more sense for Thanos to keep the stones and, like, fucking drive himself crazy trying to fix more shit.
I think it would have been a better movie.
I don't think he would just be like, yeah, my job is done now that I did this.
I think it would have been
a better maybe
movie
he would.
If instead of the Avengers going to Thanos goes insane with power and comes back to kill the rest of the Avengers. And then they kill him. Then they succeed, but everybody's still dead.
But it's too late, yeah.
But it's too late. And the only thing I can see wrong with that is that somehow the stones would have to get destroyed. I don't know what that would look like. I don't know how that would happen.
I don't know. I feel like you could do it like, wow, Iron Man has to use the stones, but he uses them without the gauntlet, and that makes him die or something. And he dies also? I don't know. I don't know. You can. I just don't think. I don't know. I just don't think Thanos would be the type of guy to just decide to be satisfied. Even if he thinks he would be.
Yeah. I mean, in the comics, he literally does it to impress Mr. Death.
Yeah, he's trying to fuck.
I mean, in Infinity War, like his there's too many people, and not enough resources. Not exactly the best argument. Like there are definitely ways. It almost makes more sense for him to do it just because he wants to get some skeletal pussy. Than
oh yeah, no, his argument is like factually wrong. Like
yeah, like very very incorrect, and it is very weird that he like makes that argument. And he kind of is more Thanos-y, like at the end of in Endgame where he comes back and he's just like, well, fuck you guys. I'm just gonna kill you all because I don't like you.
Where he's like, okay, you guys are fucking with my shit. Yeah. I want to kill you.
And like, there's a lot in this movie. I think it's better than in Iron Man because it's a lot more structured. Iron Man was held back by the fact that they had a smaller budget and didn't know if it was going to work.
Can we move Iron Man up to S tier, but we can keep it below Infinity or below Endgame?
I think that's warranted. I think we could probably do that. Okay, Far From Home.
It's good. I think it also belongs in A tier.
Is it as good as Homecoming?
Say that again?
Is it as good as Homecoming? Is it worse than Homecoming?
I think it's worse than Homecoming.
I think
it's good.
Worse than Homecoming. It has some good moments. Again, the villain is just somebody got cucked by Iron Man. I think that instead of doing magic, him having like the drones is a very interesting take, and it worked well.
I think it's really good
to a point. His reasons for being a bad guy are not very good. He's kind of just like a pathetic guy. The whole Mysterio sequence with zombie Iron Man and like he gets hit by a train, like, oh my god, that is on Doctor Strange level with fucking fantastic to look at. Nick Fury is a Skrull for this movie.
That's actually true?
Yeah, I mean, like...
That's weird.
I don't know about that one. MJ
I don't know.
and Spider-Man have their little romance. That's pretty good.
I do like MJ and Spider-Man in this movie.
Spider Monkey, or Night Monkey, or whatever the fuck his name is. Like...
Ned continues to be peak, I think.
Oh my god, Ned is fucking Riz-tastic in this movie. Motherfucker gets a girlfriend with like the news girl, like the popular girl, and then he breaks up with her at the end of the fucking movie.
He knows his worth. Okay, he's like
the funniest shit ever. Ned is so fucking fantastic. And like when MJ finds out he's Spider-Man, Ned like walks in and he's like, well, I knew already. I'm better than you. Ned is fucking great. I love Ned. If we did an MCU characters tier list, Ned is top.
S tier. S tier.
List. I think that overall, it's just all around a very good movie.
We could do Spider-Man Friends tier list.
That's a fucking wild one. No, Ned goes in the Spider-Man villains tier list when he becomes Hobgoblin.
Oh, when he becomes Hobgoblin in Spider-Man 6.
Yeah. Oh god, he thought he had Riz now. Just wait.
When his CEO of Sex position is taken away by the board.
Sex Corp. Black Widow. I think the movie is fine. I think that it's better than any of the things in C tier.
That's true.
I don't think it's top shit. I don't think it belongs in C. I think it would have been better if it came, earlier. Like
it was weird that it was saved. Or that it was made in response to how much people started liking Black Widow after she died.
Oh, the reason why it came so late is because the CEO of Marvel, or the MCU at the time, was very against Black Panther and Black Widow
Oh,
because he
yeah,
was racist and sexist.
yeah.
And the thing is, though, is that guy got taken out and Black Panther was made. I don't know why they didn't just go ahead and make Black Widow instead of Captain Marvel. Like, I think that if Black Widow, because it came out, it was, I think it was Ant-Man and the Wasp, Captain Marvel, and then Endgame, I mean. It would have been way more impactful if it was Ant-Man and the Wasp, Black Widow, than Endgame, because her final movie is Endgame.
Yeah.
I think that it would have been way better received if it was there. And I think that I think that the biggest problem with this movie is the timing. Like, it should have come out earlier. It didn't. It should have. A lot of people have a problem with Taskmaster. I don't. I think Taskmaster is great. I think that the argument that Taskmaster is a woman in this and that makes it bad is like the dumbest thing ever, because Taskmaster in the comics is just some fucking creepy dude. In Ultimate Spider-Man, he's like the gym teacher, and he like becomes the gym teacher to fucking find Spider-Man with the students.
Yeah.
He has no fucking character. Like, in this they give him, or her, I guess, like a little bit of a reason to exist. It's kind of going back to that super soldier serum, which is like a thing that exists in the entire MCU. Everybody's trying to replicate it. It has much more of a reason to exist than he does anywhere else. Like,
oh yeah, I mean, like Taskmaster, I like Taskmaster in this movie. What I don't like is that they should have used Red Guardian a little more, I think.
I think that Red Guardian...
He talks all this big story about fighting I didn't hear anything you just said, by the way.
He talks all this big smack about fighting Captain America, was what I just said.
And then, like, and he's probably lying, but I think it would have been good if they gave him the chance to fight Taskmaster. Like, with Taskmaster using Captain America's shield and shit.
Yeah, I think that, and this is another weird take. This is a weird one. It's not necessarily a hot take, it's just a weird one. In Winter Soldier, instead of Batroc, if it was Red Guardian, and then he reappears in this movie, that would have made his character so much more fucking funny.
Yeah?
Like, if he was, like, serious like Batroc, and then fought Captain America, and that's, like, the one time he fights Captain America, and this entire movie he, like, alludes back to his battle with Captain America. But nobody who was in this movie was there except for Black Widow. But, like, so only us, the audience, and Black Widow know the actual story where he gets his ass handed to him by Captain America, but he still talks about it like he was giving big shit to Cap.
Yeah.
That might have been hilarious. Like...
And I mean, like, it could have, like, because it obviously can't be not Chris Evans, Steve Rogers Captain America. Yeah. Because he was in ice. Yeah. But it could have been one of the other fucking Captain Americas. I mean, they haven't talked about him much aside from Isaiah Bradley.
Or whatever the fuck his name is.
Because, I mean, like, in the comics, there was, like, racist Captain America.
Yeah, well, that's just kind of... In the comics, that was just kind of generally Captain America.
It was Captain America, and then they retconned it to make racist Captain America...
His own version, yeah. It's kind of a wild... Okay. Worst Marvel movie ever.
I haven't watched it.
Eternals. It is unbelievably forgettable. I will only ever watch this movie the one time I did. It is so bad. Like, every time I go to Target or, like, a Lego store or anything that sells Lego, there are still Eternals Lego sets on shelves. That movie came out fucking years ago now. Like, that came out... Well, hold on. No Way Home came out in 2021? No. Like, let's do some Googling. When did Eternals come out?
I think it was 2020. Let me check.
I think it was 2020. I'm not 100% certain on that.
Oh, it was 2021.
It was 2021? Oh, it must have been
Yeah.
the summer of 2021.
Harry Styles was in this movie?
Either way, it has been 2 years. Those Lego sets came out before the movie came out, and they are still on the fucking shelves. They did not sell because the movie sucks. The characters are so nothing. The end credit scene looked bad. The characters are just dumb. There's too many of them. They have no introduction. Some of them could have been cool outside of this, but they're just like, there's no reason for this movie to exist, and it just does. It is just as bad as the original Joss Whedon cut of the Justice League. It is very disappointing. It is not a good watch. Do not watch it more than once. It's just a bad movie.
Joss Whedon Justice League.
It is easily the worst Marvel movie. Shang-Chi, on the other hand,
I think it belongs in A.
I think
it's better than Doctor Strange, and that's what we have as top of B.
that's a fair point. It is. I don't think it's as good as.
It's got really good hand-to-hand combat.
It has some beautiful CGI. This movie does not have problems with that. The main character is very likable. He's not underutilized. The Mandarin comes back, but so does Trevor, the fake Mandarin.
That's so good.
It is. I do think that this movie is fairly good. I've only ever seen it once, but it is a movie I would be willing to watch more than once.
It's a good movie.
Like a lot of these, the soundtrack slaps. The setting is beautiful. It works. It works. It has the same kind of outdated formula as like some of the earlier MCU movies. And
it's a lot like the first movies of like all the other trilogies.
Yeah.
But I like it. I like it a lot. It's just good. I don't know. I don't know. It's just good.
It's good. Whereas like some of the B tiers are like okay, and C tiers are meh. This is a good movie. Like it's definitely not just okay. It's better than okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of better than okay.
This is pretty easily better than Endgame. I don't think it's better than Infinity War.
I do. I think it's way better than Infinity War. The fucking emotional notes in this movie are phenomenal.
I liked watching this movie more than Infinity War, but I don't think it's a better movie.
I 100% think it does. It redeems Andrew Garfield, Lycus.
True, he is so good in this movie.
It redeems him so well.
They finally put him in a movie with a good script.
And like, it was so emotional when MJ is falling and he catches her and he starts to cry and she's like, "Are you okay?" Like, we knew why he was crying, and even though that movie that Gwen Stacy died was terrible, that was such an emotional moment. Like, they turned a part of a movie that is absolutely abysmal and made it a beautiful moment. Like,
I do. Yeah, it's so good. The main problem I have with this movie is how they handled Doc Ock. He gets cured, but then he just fucking leaves. And like,
I think that it
just doesn't do anything.
Better if he got cured and stuck around to help. However, the time between him getting cured and the final battle is not very big.
I guess that's kind of true. I don't know. I like his. I think it's weird given what we know about, because at the end of Spider-Man 2, he starts to willpower himself over the arms feeding him shit.
Yes.
And I think that's a better like victory for him. It's more satisfying than what he gets in this movie.
But we did get a pretty good bridge scene with him.
That's true. That's true.
And I think that if you look at it from his perspective, he is a very intelligent person. It would make more sense from his standpoint to still be a villain and then come out at the where he like comes back and he's like, you know, he meets up with Electro and he like takes it from him. But like Electro for a second is like, oh, he's still a bad guy. Like that, I can see where he thought that it made more sense to be a bad guy. But again, there is like, I want to say there's like 15 hours between Aunt May dying and the final battle. Like,
I don't know.
It cannot be that much.
I think it's disappointing what they did with, like, they didn't do much with Sandman. His motivations were kind of weird too.
Well, Sandman, you can only like Sandman comes from a bad movie, a funny movie, but a bad movie.
Yeah.
His motivations in that were okay, and his motivations in this are kind of the same. And I can kind of see how it would have been hard to work with the guy, because the guy did not want to like live action. That's why he's like Sam for the most time. And then he does voice lines for his Sam.
I mean, he didn't die, right?
No.
At the end of Spider-Man 3? So I don't know why he came back at all.
But
that doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter.
I mean, Lizard didn't die either.
That's true. I don't know. The lizard was also a little bit underutilized. I don't know.
Yeah.
He hung out in the back of the truck and then got his ass kicked like immediately.
I also
in the
think
final
that
fight.
They were not only did they redeem Andrew Garfield, but they also redeemed Electro and made him cool.
Oh yeah, he looks so much better in this movie.
I think that the Lizard, again, kind of similar to Sandman, it is hard to retcon everything to make that character better.
That's true.
Now the biggest reason why I think this movie is better than Infinity War is because it took a lot more effort to get Sony to work with Marvel in this way than it did for Infinity War. Like, yeah,
I can
it took
understand
22 movies to get to Infinity War and Endgame. That does not compare to the deal that had to be made for Sony to let Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man join us for this movie. And the fact that Tobey Maguire was great in this movie, when he stops, there was a fake out death. I don't know why it needed to exist there. The scene was already good where he stops Tom Holland from beating the shit out of Goblin and killing him. I don't know why he got stabbed in the stomach, and I don't know why he then didn't die. It feels really weird. And also, Tobey Maguire in this movie comes from after Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, he's like 50, right?
Yeah, he's like old in this movie. And you know,
he's like, oh yeah, Mary Jane and I have had a rough marriage.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know, because like I think that he's well in this movie, and I really love the Spider-Man in this movie. I think they are all fan-fucking-tastic.
And Andrew
between each other are fucking.
Andrew Garfield talking about how he got like dark and violent after Gwen Stacy died, referencing a movie that would probably have been really good if it wasn't.
Oh, dude! Like,
if it was made,
if any of the Spider-Man movies were to be the one where Kingpin is the main villain, it would have been Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man 3. Like, oh man, to watch.
Oh my god, they could have done a black suit movie. Not even necessarily Venom.
Yeah.
But like a black suit Spider-Man movie where he's fighting Kingpin.
Oh, dude, it would have been fucking fantastic. And I think that because of how hard this movie was to like happen, because of how sad like the end of it is, and because like they redeemed Andrew Garfield, they redeemed Electro. I think that Doc Ock was fine. I think Goblin was great. I think that Sandman and the Lizard were nothing, but they were already nothing, so we're adding nothing to nothing. So I think this movie is easily better than
real.
I think that this movie is easily better than Infinity War, and I could watch it way more than I could Infinity War.
That's true. I don't know. I guess I really like Spider-Man. I don't know.
I also really like Spider-Man. I am super.
Even though out of the like 7 Spider-Man movies that exist, like 4 of them are good.
Yeah. And then the other 3 are just bad. And like there's only like
at least one of those 3 is funny.
Yeah. But there's only like 2 Spider-Man movies, and I would argue that's Tobey Maguire 2 and this one that are like actually great. And then the other ones are good, and then everything else is bad. Like, this one and Tobey Maguire 2 are the only, like, if we were to put them on this list, they're the only 2, like, S-tier Spider-Man movies. Everything else is D or lower. I think they're comparing, I mean, like, you know,
lower, I think this... I mean, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 2 is easily the best movie out of those 3.
Yes.
And this is easily the best movie out of the Tom Holland 3.
This movie is definitely.
I don't know. I mean, I think if you're going, then I think it's better than Tobey Maguire 2.
But
and
they're both still S tiers in my opinion.
Yeah. I agree.
But I will fight tooth and nail to keep this above Infinity War. I think that it is.
I'll let you have it.
It is like the perfect fucking Spider-Man movie. Almost. It is like so close to being the perfect Spider-Man movie. And I've had this argument with you before about, and we'll get to it when we do our Spider-Man villain tier list. About
are we going to talk about?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we'll talk about Kingpin. And I just think that like as far as like these movies go, Spider-Man No Way Home is the like. It's like the only like S tier movie in my opinion that's come out since Endgame.
Probably, yeah.
I don't think that any of the other ones of these are S tier.
Oh, Guardians 3 might be.
We haven't seen it, so we can't rate it. Multiverse of Madness.
It's yeah.
I don't think it's as good as the first Doctor Strange.
Well, I think it's better than the first Doctor Strange, but I also probably would have put the first. I don't know where I would have put the first. I don't know. This is fine. I think it's a little better than this. Like, I think it belongs above the first Black Panther.
I could agree with that.
I really like the.
Visually, it's definitely better than Black Panther. It has a lot of the same weak points as Black Panther, where the hero is underutilized and there's a lot of weird stuff that they add and don't do anything with.
I really like the directorial style of this movie. It's
Sam Raimi, so you know, it's Tobey Maguire Spider-Man guy.
And I like that it's a little horror-y.
It has a little bit...
I mean, Sam Raimi.
Yeah. My main problem is that Scarlet Witch would make a great villain, but her reason for being a villain in this movie is not the strongest.
Oh yeah, it needs to be. It needs to be different.
Go all the way out. Scarlet Witch has the potential to be a Thanos.
Yeah. No, Scarlet Witch has like basically unlimited power if she's like decides she wants to be evil. I don't know.
She is like equivalent to like the Phoenix Force, and like the House of M is like a great comic where she like kills a lot of people, and they could have gone this way. They could have had her be the main villain of the MCU, and this could have been the start of that movie with her killing Doctor Strange. But again, they opted out. They also, like, Doctor Strange and, like, the main chick who he's in love with, but she doesn't love him back, they don't do anything with that. That's kind of true. Weird, like, because in the beginning, she's, like, getting married, and he's like, oh, I'm happy for you, and she's like, but are you really happy for me? And then he goes to an alternate universe where there's another one where her Doctor Strange is dead. And it undercuts the whole fucking beginning of the movie. Because he's like, oh, there's an alternate version of you who still loves me. Well, I love this one now. And it just feels really weird.
It's a little weird.
I just don't... The character that he's in love with, I don't know why they were so attached to keeping that for this movie. It would have been fine without any romance in it.
Well, they had kind of a connection in the first one, but it wasn't as strong as a lot of their other romances. I don't know.
Tony and Pepper or Scarlet Witch and Vision. I mean, the other problem I have with this movie, and this is kind of more of a problem with WandaVision, where the fuck is White Vision at? What the fuck is he doing?
Yeah.
What's the point? This is supposed to be like the spiritual successor to WandaVision and Doctor Strange.
I also don't think WandaVision ended, like, naturally coming to her being evil.
No, I don't think so either. And she was, she was kind of like, I don't know, because the way she said goodbye to that fake Vision and to her fake kids was
that made it feel like she was moving on.
Yeah. And she was...
I don't know, and she did enslave hundreds of people, but...
And then not have...
Also,
Yeah, but... I mean, you know, there's a potential for a Civil War 2, but, you know, we'll see how well that happens.
Yeah.
After we watch fucking Secret Wars, we'll see how great that one will be.
hope it's good, because the 2015 Secret Wars comic is really good.
It has the potential to be as good as No Way Home, but it also has the potential to be as bad as the Eternals.
I don't know. I like Doctor Doom a lot, but he's never been good in a movie.
I don't think that Doctor Doom is going to be in Secret Wars.
Then it will be bad, because that's what made it good in the comic.
There's a potential that he could be. I don't think he will be. But anyway, because I think that really the reason why Multiverse of Madness didn't live up to the hype, this movie was rewritten several times, and there was
it's a little messy. It's a little messy.
There was a lot of production hell going on for this movie. And there were rumors that at the end of WandaVision that Doctor Strange was supposed to show up and be like, hey, Wanda, what you did was pretty bad. We need to talk about that. And that was supposed to lead into this movie. But instead of going all out, like, I'm sure Raimi would have gone all out and made Scarlet Witch the villain. This movie should have been an R-rated movie. It should have been dark. It should have been a real conflict between Doctor Strange and Wanda. Wanda should have lost her mind. She should have not been redeemed at the end, but also shouldn't have died. She should be a bigger villain. Again, another contender that would have been way better than Kang for, like, the big bad of this next generation. And, like, it would have been a lot more fulfilling if Doctor Strange died in this movie. Because we're getting to a point where the old MCU, the Infinity Saga characters, are kind of falling. Like, you know, Iron Man's dead, Captain America's old.
I'm hoping they just reset it.
At this point, they might not have a choice, because we have gone from MCU and we are getting very, very close to the DCEU. We're getting, like, some of the movies, Quantumania. I could have an argument on whether or not Quantumania is better or worse than the Justice League's first Suicide Squad movie.
I don't know. I didn't watch it.
I could have an argument on whether or not Quantumania is better or worse than the Suicide Squad movie. And we are getting to a point where we very well could be entering the same phase that DC was in, where they were just releasing shitty movie after shitty movie, and then they start releasing, like, several other movies at the same time. We like how we have The Batman, which is separate from Joker, which is separate from the DCEU, which no longer exists and is now a new DC universe.
To be honest, I think that's so much better. Like, releasing movies that are definitively in separate universes. I think that's totally fine.
I think that it works for DC.
I think it could work. I think it could work for Marvel too.
It could work for Marvel. It doesn't have to be the route we go. If they would just commit. If they would just commit to Scarlet Witch being the villain, or Ultron coming back, or like, Kang just does not seem like the right play, and it is not a very interesting villain. He doesn't, like, he has less of a reason to be a villain than fucking Thanos does, and he's also not as imposing as Thanos. There's there's nothing necessarily to say. Because it took 22 movies for Thanos to get all the Infinity Stones. There's nothing to say that Kang couldn't just fucking take over right now. Like, it could just happen. Yeah. But Thanos had to, like, get people to do shit for him. But it just, like, they keep alluding to things that could be so cool and then just not doing them. And I have a real big problem with that.
I completely agree.
Thor: Love and Thunder. It's
not worse than the first Thor movie. That's 100% sure. I
hate this movie. I watched it and I was, like, pretty okay with it. I would have been probably around. It would have been.
It's better than Captain Marvel.
When I first watched it, it would have been here. Now it's here.
It cannot be worse than the first Thor movie.
It has no reason to exist, and what I was talking about earlier when we were talking about Guardians Volume 2, they do not, it is a funny movie, and they do not undercut the sad scenes. There is not a single time in this entire movie where a sad scene isn't undercut by a joke almost immediately after.
That's true. That's true.
And so,
but I do think a lot of those scenes are good though. And it's a shame they're undercut, but I think they're good scenes.
Zeus sucks. It is very cringy. Zeus is cringy. The whole fucking god scene is cringy.
The movie does get worse after you read like the Gore comics. The comics that Gore is in.
Such a fucking good villain. And
like I've got the Thor Gore omnibus on my desk. It's one of my favorite comics I've ever read.
This movie single-handedly destroyed my theory for how the MCU was gonna go.
True. That's true.
Because they, instead of doing what they should have done and have Thor destroy the MCU so they could reset it, and they're even doing the fucking Fantastic Four movie, and they're destroying the universe anyway, but instead of doing it the right way, they're doing it in a weird fucking way that nobody could predict because it's just bad. And this is the linchpin for destroying my theory, for the fucking black cloud that eats the fucking universe.
Let's keep it here. Like, I don't know. Like, would you really rather watch Captain Marvel than this movie?
No. That is a very fair point.
Okay.
But I would rather watch the first Thor movie and Iron Man 2 than this movie. You know what? Actually, I do think that...
we might have put Captain America or Captain Marvel a little high then.
I definitely think that this is probably how I would lay it out.
That's fine. I'm okay with this.
I would much rather watch Iron Man 2 than Thor: Love and Thunder. Because as Age of Ultron had an underutilized villain. Thor Ragnarok had an underutilized villain. Real. Fucking Black Panther had a great villain and an underutilized hero. Thor Love and Thunder is the epitome of underusing a villain.
Talk about like at least a trilogy villain.
At least. And like Gore the God Butcher is potentially a fucking Scarlet Witch Thanos Kang villain.
I almost think Gore isn't a villain that's good for a movie, just at all.
I definitely don't think he is either. He exists in the same sort of like villain space that is Cull Obsidian or Ebony Maw.
Yeah.
Not in the sense that he serves a higher power, but he is a means to an end. Gore exists in the comics, so Thor can destroy the fucking universe.
I don't know, just the way the way the Thor and Gore comic is written, just having that same feeling, portraying the same story on screen is impossible because it relies on the medium in a way that you can't translate to the screen.
I agree. I just... Not only does this movie feel...
Maybe I don't like this movie very much.
This movie doesn't feel necessary. Like, I don't think there needed to be a Thor 4. I think that it would have been fine if, in Guardians 3, Thor just happened to be with them.
Yeah. He just should have been in Guardians 3.
And that's my other problem with this movie, is at the very end of an Endgame, Thor goes on the Guardian ship and turns to Valkyrie and is just like, "You're in charge now. I want to be gone. I don't know where I'm coming back." This movie takes place like 2 years later or some shit. Like, not even. I don't know. It doesn't take place very long after Endgame. Then he comes back. Like, he's like... I mean, he doesn't even come back with the Guardians. The Guardians are in the, like, first 10 minutes of the movie, and then they're gone.
And Gamora's also already gone.
Yeah. Also, side note, this movie feels like Ice Age 4 to me. It feels unnecessary. It has the same, like, for me, the Screaming Goats are just as annoying as James Charles. Like, I don't know if... I mean, like...
I don't... James Charles?
He may have well played the Screaming Goats, and the movie would have been the same. There's no reason for them to exist. They do exist. and then they don't exist.
Oh my god, you meant James. You meant the different James.
James Corden. Corden.
James Corden.
No, not James. Not James Charles. James Corden. That's a dumb fuck up. Oh god. But this movie is just as good, in my opinion, as Ice Age 4. Like, that is the level at which I would put this movie. Like...
Okay, I don't... Do you like the first 3 Ice Age movies?
I like the first 2. The third one I have a lot of nostalgia for because I like dinosaurs, but... And also Buck is pretty fucking funny, but, like...
Okay, well, get ready for Thor 5 to be just like Ice Age 5, I guess.
Oh, fuck me, dude.
I don't even remember which Ice Age is Ice Age 5.
Ice Age 5 is the one with the meteor, where, like...
Oh, yeah, where they just, like...
And she becomes really fucking old.
Oh, yeah. And they just, like, fuck around for a while.
Yeah. Oh my god, I'm not ready for Thor 5. I just
anyway, Love and Thunder is in a good spot. I think you make me dislike this movie more every time we talk about it.
Like, it has the same problem as like Multiverse of Madness, where I feel like it would have made sense if you're gonna do a Thor 4 movie for Thor to die, especially if you're gonna do Gore the God Butcher, you have 2 options. Thor has to kill him in such a dramatic way that it sets off a fucking chain reaction in the universe that is going to destroy the fucking universe, which is then saved by Kang. I mean, like, they could have done it like that. They could have, like, Kang's... this is a weird tangent, but in the CWDC show, the universes are dying, and their solution is to combine them all into one universe. They could have done that. That could have been how the MCU, because Secret Wars, the whole planet... it's Battle Planet. It's parts from different multiverses, like...
Well, yeah, because it's just... Because for Secret Wars, only, like, the main universe and the Ultimate Universe are left, and they come together, and Doctor Doom becomes, like, God King or whatever.
God King Doom. And he sits on Groot as a throne. That is such a fucking good comic. I love that.
And the fucking frame. The fucking frame where he rips Thanos' spine out.
Oh, dude, yes. Oh, fuck yeah, dude. I love that comic, dude.
It's peak.
And that may be an unpopular opinion. I don't know what people's opinion on that comic is.
I think the first Secret Wars saying it's really good would be an unpopular opinion.
I think that the first Secret Wars is okay. I think that the newer one is fucking phenomenal.
Oh yeah, Doctor Doom. Focusing on Doctor Doom and Mr. Fantastic, even if it's like a giant like multiverse story, is such a good idea.
Yeah, and then the fucking universe dies. And
anyway.
Fucking the Fantastic Four are the only people left. You know, just like I said they would be until Thor Love and Thunder destroyed my fucking theory. Anyway, like, and this may be a fucked up thing to say, but I don't think that the future of the MCU is good. I think that the best Kang the Conqueror we will ever get will be in Lego Marvel 2. I don't know if that's... that is a correct opinion, and I will fight you on that. That is the best Kang you will get. I don't know if it's good that that's correct, though.
I have no idea.
Feels weird. But I feel like we should move on from Thor Love and Thunder, because I could talk about how bad...
I feel like we've talked about Thor Love and Thunder for the longest out of all of these movies.
I do not think it's as bad as any of these three, like at the bottom, but I do absolutely hate Thor Love and Thunder.
I don't know.
I hate it more every time I
saw someone legitimately say it was worse than Thor the Dark World.
Every time I talk about it, I get closer and closer to it being worse than Eternals. So
No, we have to stop talking.
You might get there eventually, buddy, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Wakanda Forever. I like this movie.
It's all right.
I like this movie.
Namor's good.
The fucking part where Shuri is like, she takes like the manufactured like Black Panther flower, and then fucking Killmonger is there. Oh,
that was so good.
God. That was so fucking good. And like to see Michael B. Jordan reprise that role for one more time, to be like, oh my God, I love that movie. I'm like,
because he's like, I know what you're here for. I know what you want.
And this
and then yeah, it's good. It's so good.
I love this movie, and this is I know that that's an unpopular opinion. Would this movie have been better with Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther? Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, 100% yes. But they did what they could with what they had, and I think they pulled it off really well.
Yeah.
I
don't know. I think a lot of the movie is just a little... It's nothing. No part of the movie is even approaches to being as good as the Killmonger scene.
No. And I do think that the movie is about a half an hour too long.
Say that all again.
I think that the movie is about a half an hour too long.
I agree.
I think that it would have benefited from being shorter than it was. I think that Ironheart, this might not have been the best movie to introduce Ironheart.
Would there have been a better one?
I think that they could have introduced her in Armor Wars, like they should have.
They could have just saved her for the show, yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's a movie now.
Oh, Armor Wars is a movie now?
I don't know. It keeps changing back between a show and a movie, but last I heard it is a movie now.
Either way.
Riri Williams, I mean, like, it's okay. I don't think that it belongs here. I don't like, it feels out of place for a Black Panther movie, for sure. I just don't, it just doesn't make much sense to me. I could see, they did it okay. I don't think it was necessary. I think that it was okay. I guess
I think it's weird that they don't give Riri Williams a good connection to Iron Man.
Right.
Because in the comics, she has like a connect. She's like Iron Man's like
Jarvis in the comics.
yeah, like, and I guess I don't know. Because obviously, I mean, you can't get Robert Downey Jr. back to do that.
You could, but it would be...
I mean, maybe you could.
The money it would cost is not worth it, easily. But, like...
So I guess I just don't...
I don't know. I feel like...
I don't know.
I feel like it would have been better...
I feel like it would have been better if Ironheart was invented a little earlier, so she could have been in Iron Man 3 instead of Harvey.
Yeah, Harley or whatever you mean? Harley,
yeah.
The kid from Iron Man 3. I was literally about to make the same point. Because it
definitely would have been Riri Williams there
instead of Riri Williams existed when Iron Man 3 came out.
Yeah, that's why.
But if she did, it absolutely would have been Riri Williams.
And that would have made it better.
That would have made it a lot better. Now, even if that were the case, I don't think that Ironheart belongs in this movie. Anyway, it's just a lot of people.
She doesn't really affect anything.
A lot of people have a big problem with Shuri defeating Namor at the end of the movie. I think it was great. I think it was deserved. I think after the fucking Killmonger scene, it's like, to me, Black Panther was always, Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther was always like a fucking calm, collected. He knew what he was fighting for. He knew how to pull his punches. Riri Williams, like, she's a fucking aggressive motherfucker. And I think that, like, the adrenaline that was pumping would have made sense, because Namor and her were not fighting with the same aggression.
Oh, you mean Shuri, right?
Yeah, what did I just say?
Riri Williams.
Yeah, I meant Shuri. Shuri.
I understand then.
And I mean, like, yeah, she gets stabbed in the shoulder by a fucking spear. She fucking took the flower. Like, she's basically a super soldier at this point. And I think her defeating Namor not only thematically makes sense, but it like, from a physical standpoint, in a universe where people, like, we have fucking magic in this universe and people want to complain. And, like, this is one of my biggest problems. These movies aren't bad because a woman is leading them. They are bad because they are written terribly. You know? And I'm so tired of, like, the right wing trying to pull this movie's only a woman lead because they want to be woke. No, it's not. That's not why this is happening.
Oh yeah, no. Like Shuri was like the logical successor.
Obviously, And, like, people are sitting here like, well, no, M'Baku was the best. No, the fuck he was not. No, the fuck he was not. Shuri is the only logical step to take from fucking Black Panther without recasting the fucking character. And, like, we live in a universe where Infinity Stones existed and they were the biggest fucking driving force of the entire MCU, and then Loki, they're just sitting in a fucking drawer and are literally paperweights. How is it out of the question that Shuri beats Namor? Like, this is not... The points... The only, like, real 2 points that drag this movie down are the fact that it's a half an hour longer than it should be, and the fact that Riri Williams really doesn't belong in this movie. Those are my 2 points. Other than that, I love this movie. It's beautiful, it's emotional, the fight scenes are cool, the interactions between Namor and Shuri make sense. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. I don't know what to say. I like the movie a lot, and I know that's an unpopular opinion, and I know people disagree with me. I like the movie. I will fight it. I will fight it. You're wrong. The reasons why you think this is bad is not right. Quantumania.
I didn't watch it. You can put it wherever you want.
I think it's better than Eternals. I don't think it's a good movie. It is worse. It is definitely worse than Thor: The Dark World. It has the potential... I think it is, actually. It might be the worst rated MCU movie. Maybe Eternals is rated lower. It is an abysmal movie. It is an absolutely abysmal movie. Again, I said earlier, I could have an argument on whether or not the Justice League Suicide Squad movie, like the first one with Will Smith, is better or worse than this movie. And I think it's a lot more likely that I say that that movie was better than this one. This movie is terrible. And, of course, it's a fucking Ant-Man movie. Ant-Man and Ant-Man 2 are in C tier. Where the fuck did you think this was going to go? Because it definitely wasn't going to go in B or higher. It's not a compelling character. They recast Cassie Lang for no fucking reason. And I, completely disagree with that. And, the actor who played Cassie in Endgame didn't even know that was happening. And
I don't even know why they did it.
I think that's fucked up. I've heard good things about MODOK. I think he looks fucking stupid.
I think MODOK... I think it's fine for MODOK to look dumb. I don't know.
He is a dumb villain. Kang is just in my opinion, Kang is a bad villain overall in every fucking instance that Kang is.
Why wouldn't they just do MODOK?
I don't know. Kang is...
I don't know. I didn't watch it.
The rival in a lot of comics to Doctor Doom. And Doctor Doom in every comic that Kang is his rival is always coming out on top of Kang. Because Kang is not a good villain. Kang thinks he's a good villain, but Kang is not a good villain. I don't know. The direction of them taking... Again, Lego Marvel 2 is the best Kang you will ever get. I do not see any instance where the MCU Kang is a good villain. No matter what, if he is still the main villain from this point on until he dies... For the MCU, for Secret Wars, and for all of that, they will be bad movies solely because the villain is terrible. Jonathan Majors, the guy who plays Kang, I don't know what the allegations are. I don't know if they've been proven wrong or right. It just, I don't know. I liked him at the end of Loki. I didn't like him in this. I haven't seen Loki Season 2. There's a bunch of other stuff I haven't seen.
Is Loki Season 2 out?
I think it's coming out. If it's not already out, it's coming out soon, which we're dating the video with that. I don't know. I mean, hell, there could be another Marvel movie by the... Oh, yeah, the Marvels.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I'm probably not going to see that one.
Me neither. Anyway, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, we haven't seen... From what I've heard, it's somewhere up here in S.
Yeah, I would be super surprised if it wasn't up there.
Ooh, I don't want to. I can't put it back.
You gotta make your choice now.
I can't put it back. Oh God, I'm gonna put it here. I don't know where the fucking. I don't know where it belongs yet. I haven't seen it. Lycus hasn't seen it. Anyway.
I'm excited for it, though.
Changes that we need to make?
I'm looking around. I don't think so.
I think that S tier is perfect. With the exception of Guardians 3, I don't know anything about it. Everything in there that I've seen belongs in S tier. A tier, I think, is great. B tier, those are all good movies, not great movies. C tier and D tier makes sense.
Yeah.
How the fuck... Oh, no, that's supposed to... I was about to say, how the fuck did Thor Dark World end up in C tier? But no, it's down here. The only difference that I would make is...
It's been a while since I watched that Hulk movie. It might be better than I think it is. I don't know.
It might be. It also might be worse than we think it is.
I think it's probably better than Thor Dark World.
I would assume so. Thor Dark World is, like, easily a...
If I watched it again, I would probably only expect Hulk to get better.
Right. And at the end of the day, I think this is a pretty good tier list. Somehow we have spent an hour and 45 minutes on this one, and we only have, 20, 30 movies in here. That's pretty insane. So I think we need to close it out for today. Go ahead and take us
definitely.
out, Lucas. I've got nothing left to say. That's not true. I have a lot to say about Thor: Love and Thunder, but we're not going to get into it right now. So take me away, Lucas.
Well, this has been the Marvel movies tier list. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, etc.
Ring that bell.
I don't know how you follow people on Spotify. Do that.
Rate us 5 stars.
I hope you enjoyed.
Yeah, I hope this 2-hour long episode was worth listening to or watching, depending on where you're watching or listening to.
I don't know. This is such a fun one to make.
I mean, we've had conversations about Marvel, and we have bored Tyler so many times with our conversations about Marvel. It just happens all the time. So, of course, the logical step to take is to do a tier list of a topic that we both feel very, very specific about.
Yeah. Sure.
All right. Well, I think we're done here. Thanks for watching.
I do too.
We'll see you in the next one. Stay tuned for much more amazing content. That's Tyler's outro. Bye-bye. Say bye, Legus.
True. Bye, Legus.